Well, the new world is the world that exists. That's the Monster Hunter world. And that's the world, when you play the game, that's the world you go into. So with the movie, I tried to recreate the feeling I had 12 years ago when I first played the game, because I went in there as a modern man, with my microwave pizza on my computer playing the game, right? So you go in as a modern man, but then you're immersed in this fantastical world that is kind of almost trapped in a dark age. There's a lot of primitive weaponry, but then there's also some more advanced weaponry as well. So it's almost like the world of Europe in the Dark Ages, where you had the Roman technology that fell into rack and ruin but was still around. It's a fantastical world, it's a relatable world, it's a beautiful world. That was one of the things that struck me the first time I played the game, was the sheer beauty of the landscapes that Capcom had created. And that's why when we were shooting the movie, I just didn't want to shoot anything against a green screen. I wanted to find some of the most striking landscapes on Earth and then go and shoot there. The apex predators in this world are these giant creatures. It kind of is almost like our world if the dinosaurs had never become extinct. I was very aware that, as in any action movie, you don't want the action to become repetitive. If you're making a car chase movie, every car chase has to be slightly different. Making a fight movie, every fight has to be different. You're making a giant monster movie, every monster combat has to be different. So having one flying creature in it, I didn't want another one. The Diablos was chosen because that's a creature that burrows underneath the ground, which provides a different set of challenges for our characters. The Nasilla is the only creature that kind of hides in the darkness and can't come out into the light. So every creature I selected, first and foremost, it was because it looked badass and was very cinematic. But then also, they all had different abilities, different weaknesses, different strengths that would create different kind of fight scenes when our characters were trying to bring these creatures down. Rathalos is kind of, you say the poster boy, you're quite right. It's kind of on the video box cover of nearly all of the games. It's kind of like the rock star of the games. It's a giant fire-breathing, flying beast. It's terrifying, but it's also very, very majestic. And for us, it's kind of the boss level fight in the movie. We save it till last because it's really the toughest and the biggest and the baddest, but also the most beautiful. I mean, I think it's very, very majestic. In the Monster Hunter world, you kill a monster, but then you use the monster. You fashion weapons out of the bones, out of the teeth, out of the leather, out of the scales. That was an important thing that Capcom said, is they want to make it clear that, to kill a monster, you need a monster. To kill the bigger monsters, you need to kill some of the smaller monsters, and you need to kind of fashion the weaponry. So the weaponry has a very organic feel, like the giant blade that Tony Jaa wields. It's clearly the jawbone of something with teeth studded into it. It's one of the hallmarks of the game, this oversized weaponry, which looks fantastic, but I got to tell you, I needed superhuman actors to be able to carry all of this stuff. When you built a weapon that's as big as the actor and you're asking them to do fight scenes with it, it's quite a challenge. And, that's when, I as a director was happy that I had actors like Mila and Tony and Ron Perlman, because they're strong people and they needed to be. I was influenced by the first time I played the game, or anyone plays the game. You're a modern person going into this world and discovering it for the first time. And you do so with a character that you've created. You're not playing a ready-made character that already has a name, already has a backstory. You're creating your own character. So you're essentially a stranger going into this world. And I wanted to recreate the sense of wonder that I felt the first time I went into the world. So I thought you can only have that sense of wonder if you're seeing the world with fresh eyes. I kind of suggested that maybe it should be someone from our world going into that world. But obviously once Mila's there, everyone she meets is from the Monster Hunter world, from the games. And then also the idea of kind of a military person was kind of suggested by a crossover that Monster Hunter did with Metal Gear Solid, where you got to kind of be Snake Solid and kind of shoot these creatures with a machine gun. And I thought, well, that's kind of organic to the games because it's already a crossover that's been done, plus an interesting kind of an interesting way in.